Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today in this video I would like to continue my previous video entitled China's Maritime Disputes 1895 until 2020. 2010 July 20, 2010. United States affirms interest in South China Sea. U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton reiterates Washington neutrality on sovereignty in the South China Sea in a speech at an ASEAN regional security meetings in Hanoi, but affirms American interest in the open access to Asia's maritime commons. The speech represents a rebuke to China, which has insisted on its right to the islands and a bilateral approach to resolving disputes. It also comes at a time when military-to-military talks between Beijing and Washington are suspended and diplomatic relations are at a nadir, with China rescinding an invitation to host former U.S. Secretary of Defense Robert Gates in June and Chinese officials announcing in March that they would not tolerate outside interference. Clinton's comments are viewed as an exposure of U.S. involvement in the dispute and a boon to Vietnam, which had been attempting to internationalize the conflict in hopes of a resolution. 2010 September 7, 2010. Chinese boat clashes with Japanese Coast Guard. A Chinese fishing boat collides with two Japanese Coast Guard vessels near the Senkaku or Diaoyu Islands, prompting Japan to arrest the crew. Beijing protests the move, enforcing an unofficial embargo on rare earth minerals and arresting 4 Japanese businessmen for trespassing on a Chinese military facility. China also refused a meeting between Premier Wen Jiabao and Japanese Prime Minister Naoto Kan at the UN General Assembly. After 2 weeks of escalating tension, the two countries agreed to release their respective citizens. Diplomatic relations finally thawed when Japan's Prime Minister and China's Premier meet coincidentally on the sidelines of the Asia-Europe meeting summit in Brussels in October 2010. The incident underscores the fragility of the management of the territorial disputes and sparks debate over Japan's ability to defend its interests in the face of China's rise. 2011. Philippines summons Chinese envoy. The Philippines summons a Chinese envoy to express its mounting concern about naval incursion in its claimed territory after recording at least 5 incursions by Chinese ships in the past year near this Spratly Island in the Army Douglas Bank of the coast of Palawan Island. These incursions began in early March when Chinese surveillance ship forced a Philippine vessel conducting surveys in the Red Bank to leave the area. Both parties declared the incident as violations of the 2002 ASEAN-China Declaration on the conducting parties in the South China Sea, and the event sets off a series of skirmishes in the region between the two countries. The diplomatic standoff in June comes day after Vietnam protests China's alleged harassment of oil exploration ships. Vietnam had been working with multinational corporations, including ExxonMobil and Chevron, to develop hydrocarbon assets. 2011, October 2011, Philippines renamed South China Sea. In response to spate of skirmishes with Chinese vessels, the Philippine government began referring to official communication and in October 2012 signed an administrative order asserting its inherent powers and right to designate its maritime areas. U.S. Secretary of State as the West Philippine Sea, affirming in a November 2011 joint press conference with her Philippine counterpart, the figure of the two countries' alliance, particularly at a time when the Philippines is facing challenges to its territorial integrity in the ocean region. 2011 November 17, 2011. Obama cites U.S. strategic rebalancing to Asia Pacific. U.S. President Barack Obama makes a landmark speech to the Australian Parliament announcing the United States will pivot its strategic attentions to the Asia Pacific, particularly the southern part of the region. The Obama administration announced new troop and equipment deployment to Australia and Singapore and pledged that reductions in defense spending would not come at the expense of commitment to the region. Negotiations continue on the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a free trade agreement integrations with the Asia Pacific. Notably, China is excluded from the talks. 2012 Notice Asia Leadership Transition. 2012 heralded a landmark year for leadership transition in Northeast Asia, raising questions about how territorial dispute will factor into each administration's agenda. Following a hearty election win, Abe Shinzo takes office as Japan's Prime Minister for the second time on December 2026. Shortly thereafter, he published an op-ed in which he warns of the South China Sea transforming into Lake Beijing and proposed a democratic security diamond comprising Japan, the United States, India, and Australia that would safeguard the maritime commons stretching from the Indian Ocean region of the Western Pacific. China also undergoes its high-profile once-a-decade leadership transition in November, electing Xi Jinping and Li Keqiang as president and premier, respectively. Its military strategy continues to shift from land-based power to a maritime one, which its new leaders reinforce through an expansions and consolidations of marine agencies, as well as rhetoric that refers to maritime rights as part of the country's core interests. South Korea elected Park Geun-hye as its first female president in February 2013 amid heightened tensions over nuclear threats by the North. So the time is up, and the article will be continue to read in the next video. So bye bye, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.